So all of you write the next heading. Expression for magnetic field along the axis of a circular coil. Magnetic field along the axis of a circular coil. Okay. So in order to explain the magnetic field along the axis of a circular coil, first of all, we consider a circular coil. Consider a circular coil. Consider a circular coil of radius R, capital R. Consider a circular coil of radius capital R. Once again, I will draw this. Consider a circular coil of radius capital R. Let I be the current. Let capital I be the current flows through the circular coil. Let I be the current flow through this circular coil. So here we are deriving the expression for magnetic field along the axis of a circular coil. Magnetic field along the axis of a circular coil. So for that we are consider a circular coil of radius r. Let I be the current flowing through this circular coil. So whenever the current I is passing through the circular coil, what developed here? Yes, Aditya, it's right.
Magnetic field.
Magnetic field. Whenever the current is passing through a current carrying conductor, here the current carrying conductor is a circular coil. A magnetic field is developed here. Okay, so students, can you say that here, what about the direction of the current? Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? What about the direction of the current? Yes, by looking this arrow mark, you can say what about the direction of flowing of current? Is it is clockwise or
Anti-clockwise.
yes, here the current is flowing in an anti-clockwise direction. So what about the polarity of the magnetic field? That is what is we were discussed in our last class. If the current is flowing an anti-clockwise direction, then what about the polarity?
North polarity.
Yes, very good. It possesses a north polarity and the magnetic field is directed outwards. Okay, here the magnetic field is directed outwards. So here we are consider a circular coil with a radius r. Let I be the current flowing through this circular coil. Whenever the current I flowing through the circular coil, it develops a magnetic field. Now we consider a point P in this magnetic field. Consider a point P in this magnetic field. The distance between the point P and the center of the circular coil is taken as x. The distance between the point P and the center of the circular coil is taken as x. So once again, I will repeat. Here we are consider a circular coil of radius r. Let I be the current that flows through this circular coil. Whenever the current I flows through the circular coil, it develops a magnetic field. So we consider a point P inside this magnetic field. We consider a point P in this magnetic field, and X be the distance between the point P and the center of the circular coil. Is it clear? Okay. Now we want to calculate the magnetic field produced at the point P. Now we want to calculate the total magnetic field produced at the point P. Now we want to calculate the total magnetic field produced at the point P. Now we want to calculate the total magnetic field produced at the point P. So students, is it possible to calculate the total magnetic field produced at the point P through a single step? Is it possible to calculate the entire magnetic field of the circular coil through a single step? Is it possible? Here, to calculate the total magnetic field at the point P is not possible through a single step. So what we are going to do here, the same thing that we are doing in the earlier cases, what we are going to do here. Yes, Gauri. Yes, it's right. Unmute and say.
Taking a small section.
Yes, very good. Here we cannot calculate the magnetic field produced at the point P through a single step. So what we are going to here is that we are going to divide this entire circular coil into small section, each of it having a length of dl. Okay, so here we are consider a small section of the circular coil with a length dl. Here we want to calculate the total magnetic field produced at the point P. But we cannot calculate the total magnetic field produced at the point P through a single step. So the same procedure that we are repeating here, we are consider the small section or small portion of the circular coil with a small length dl. Now, the distance between the point, P to this small length is taken as r. The distance between the point P and this small length dl is taken as r, small r. So here let r be the distance between the point P and that of the small length dl. Now, this small length dl produces a magnetic field at this point P at 90 degree. Okay, this small length dl, produce a magnetic field at the point P. Since it is a small length, it produces a small magnetic field dB. So here we can say the small length dl produce a magnetic field at the point P at 90 degree. It produce a magnetic field at the point P at 90 degree. And that magnetic field is taken as dB. Because it is the magnetic field produced by a small segment So it produces a small magnetic field. So we can take it as dB. Okay. So you draw a perpendicular line corresponding to this. Then only it should be it must be 90 degree. This one. This angle should be 90 degree. The small length dl produces a magnetic field at the point P at angle 90 degree. Produces a magnetic field dB at an angle 90 degree. Or it produces a perpendicular magnetic field. Okay, so once again, I will repeat all the conditions that we have taken here. Here we consider a circular loop with a radius R. Then let I be the current that flows through this circular loop. When a current I flows through this circular loop, it produces a magnetic field. Then we consider a point P in this magnetic field. Let x be the distance between the point P and that of the center of the circular loop. Now we want to calculate the total magnetic field that produced at the point P, but it is not possible to calculate the total magnetic field produced at the point P through a single step. So what we are doing here, we are dividing the circular coil into small section, each of which having a length of dl. Then the small length dl produces a magnetic field dB at this point P at an angle 90 degree. Okay. So the theta be the angle between this point P and that of the magnetic field. Let theta be the angle between the point P and that of the magnetic field. So now we can calculate the magnetic field produced at the point P with the help of a Biot-Savart's law. Now we can apply the Biot-Savart's law here. By Biot-Savart's law, we have how we can calculate the magnetic field produced at that point. What is the equation for calculating the magnetic field that produced at the point? According to Biot-Savart's law, we have the equation for Biot-Savart's law.
0 by 4.
Equation. What about the Biot-Savart's law? How we can find out the magnetic field that produced at the point P? We want to calculate the magnetic field produced at this point P due to this small length dl. So in order to calculate the magnetic field produced at the point P due to this small length dl, we are applying the Biot-Savart's law. So what is the Biot-Savart's law state? Not the statement, what is the equation for Biot-Savart's law? dB is equal to
mu 0
huh,
into IDL into R by
mu
R.
0 divided by 4 pi I dl sine theta divided by what is the distance of separation between them? The distance of separation between this small length and that of the point P here? R, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So IDL sine theta divided by R square. So by Biot-Savart's law, the magnetic field produced at the point P due to this small length is given by dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL sine theta divided by R square. Okay. Then what is theta here? The angle between the point P and that of the magnetic field. What is the theta here? It is 90 degree. So it becomes here theta is equal to 90 degree. So our equation becomes dB is equal to mu 0 divided by 4 pi IDL sin 90 divided by R square. What is sin 90? What is the value of sin 90? Unmute and say
1.
1. So here we know that sin 90 degree is equal to 1. Therefore, magnetic field produced at the point is given by dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL divided by R square. IDL divided by R square. Okay. Again, here this dB is a vector quantity. The magnetic field is a vector quantity. So what happens? It resolved into two components, a perpendicular component and a parallel component. Here the magnetic field dB is a vector quantity. So it resolved into two components, a horizontal component and a vertical component, or you can write a perpendicular component or a parallel component. And the vertical component or the perpendicular component is taken as dB cos theta, and the horizontal component is taken as dB sin theta. Since the magnetic field dB is a vector quantity, it resolved into two components, a parallel component and a perpendicular component. The perpendicular component is taken as dB cos theta and the parallel component is taken as dB sin theta. Okay. Now again, we consider a diagrammatically opposite small segment. Consider a diagrammatically opposite small segment along this circular coil. Consider another small segment dl along this circular coil, just opposite to this segment. Consider another small segment opposite to that of the above case with a length dl. Consider another small segment dl. Now, this small segment dl of the circular coil is also produces a magnetic field at this point P. This small segment dl is also produces a magnetic field at the point P. This small segment dl is also produces a magnetic field at the point P. Let R be the distance between the point P and the small segment dl. Let R be the distance between the point P and the small segment dl. So here we are consider another small section or small segment with the length dl along the circular coil. R be the distance between the point P and this length dl. The magnetic field produced by this length dl produced by this length dl with that of the point P, with that of the point P at an angle of 90 degree, at an angle of 90 degree. So here we consider another small segment DL just opposite to that of the above case. The distance between the point P and that of the small segment DL is taken as R. The magnetic field produced by this small segment DL at the point P is taken as dB. It formed at an angle theta, or they are mutually perpendicular. It produces a perpendicular magnetic field at the point P. The small segment DL produces a perpendicular magnetic field at the point P. So here also the angle is theta. Again, we can find out the magnetic field produced by this small segment DL by applying the Biot-Savart's law. Here also we can find out the magnetic field produced at the point P by applying the Biot-Savart's law. So the equation is exactly the same. According to Biot-Savart's law, we have dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL sine theta divided by the distance between them is, what about the distance between the small segment DL and that of the point P?
R square.
It is also R. So here also we can take it as R square. So dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL sine theta divided by R square. Again, what is the theta here? Angle theta. What is the angle between this point P and that of the magnetic field produced by this small segment DL?
90 degree.
Yes, it is 90 degree. So theta is equal to 90 degree. Therefore, dB is equal to mu 0 divided by 4 pi IDL sine 90 divided by R square. And we know that the value of sine 90 is equal to 1. So by substituting this value, again we get the magnetic field due to that small line segment is given by dB is equal to mu 0 divided by 4 pi IDL divided by R square. dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL divided by R square. So here we get two expressions for the magnetic field. One is the magnetic field due to this small line segment DL, and another is the magnetic field due to this opposite small segment DL. So both the equations are same, that is dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL divided by R square. And here also this dB is a vector quantity. So what happens to this dB? Here this magnetic field produced at the point P dB is a vector quantity. So we can resolve it into two components. Here also we can resolve it into two components. One is a vertical component and it is dB cos theta, and other is a horizontal component, it is dB sine theta. Since the magnetic field produced at the point P is a vector quantity, we resolved it into two components. One is a vertical component dB cos theta and other is a horizontal component dB sine theta. Is it clear? Is it clear, students? Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, all of you please observe here. What about the perpendicular or parallel components here? What about the dB cos theta and the dB cos theta? What about their direction? Are they along the same direction or in opposite direction? Yes. What about the direction of cos theta components? Is it same or opposite?
Opposite.
Yes, they are in opposite direction. So here we can say that the magnetic field due to the cos theta components are exactly equal. So they will be cancel each other. Here the magnetic field due to cos theta component are exactly opposite. So here the dB cos theta is this direction in upward and here this dB cos theta is in downward direction due to this small segment dl. So since the cos theta components are in opposite direction, they will cancel each other. Here the magnetic field due to the cos theta component are in opposite direction, so they will cancel each other. Now, what about the sine theta component? What about the magnetic field due to sine theta component? Did they are in opposite direction or along the same direction?
Same direction.
They are along the same direction. So here we can say that the total magnetic field is only due to the presence of sine theta component. So here we can say that the total magnetic field due to the presence of sine theta component. Here the total magnetic field. Here the total magnetic field is only due to sine theta component. Sine theta component. So we can write the total magnetic field dB. The total magnetic field dB is equal to dB sine theta plus dB sine theta. We know that it obeys the principle of superposition. So the total magnetic field is the sum of the magnetic field due to the individual charges. So here the total magnetic field dB is equal to dB sine theta plus dB sine theta. Or we can write the total magnetic field dB is equal to, what is dB sine theta plus dB sine theta?
2 dB sine.
2 dB sine theta. The total magnetic field is given by dB is equal to dB sine theta plus dB sine theta. That is equal to 2 dB sine theta. Okay. Now again, we can substitute the value of here. We are calculating the total magnetic field. total. Two into, what is the value of dB? What's the value of dB? dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi IDL divided by R square. We can substitute the value of dB here. So it becomes dB is equal to mu 0 by 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IDL divided by R square into sine theta. dB is equal to 2 into mu 0 divided by 4 pi IDL R square divided by sine theta. Now in mathematics, we study an expression for sine theta. What is sine theta? We know that sine theta is equal to opposite side divided by hypotenuse. We can calculate the sine theta by opposite side divided by hypotenuse. This is an expression that we were studied in our mathematics class. So here we can find out the sine theta from the diagram. Sine theta is equal to, what about the sine theta here? This is the angle theta. Theta is the angle made by this point P and that of the magnetic field. So sine theta is equal to opposite side. Here the opposite side is R. This is our angle theta. Opposite side is R divided by adjacent side. What is the, sorry, not adjacent side, hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is R. Okay. So sine theta, theta is equal to opposite side divided by hypotenuse. So we can write opposite side is R divided by, what is our hypotenuse? From the diagram, what is our hypotenuse?
Small r.
Yes, small r. Good. So sine theta is equal to capital R divided by small r. So we can substitute the value of sine theta in the above equation. What is our above equation? dB is equal to 2 into mu 0 divided by 4 pi IDL sine theta. Instead of sine theta, we can substitute R divided by R. 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IDL R divided by R. Oh, here an R square is there. Mu 0 by 4 pi IDL R square into, instead of sine theta, we are substituting this term. It becomes R by R. So the equation becomes dB is equal to 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IDL. Here R square and R, it becomes R cube. IDL capital R divided by small r square into capital R become R cube. So we have dB is equal to 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IDL R divided by R cube. So students, this is the magnetic field produced by a small segment. So the magnetic field produced here will be small. It is represented by dB. Then how we can calculate the entire magnetic field of the circular loop? How we can calculate the capital B? Here it is a small magnetic field dB. We want to calculate the magnetic field of the entire circular loop. How it is possible? Usually we are doing a method. Can you recall it? Here dB is equal to 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IDL R divided by R cube. This is the magnetic field produced by a small segment dl. From this, how we can calculate the magnetic field of the entire circular loop? Any idea? Try to recall the method that we are
Integral.
following in our earlier classes. Here we
Integrate.
are integrating it. Okay, we can integrate this and we can calculate the total magnetic field produced by the circular loop. So the entire magnetic field produced by circular loop is given by, write the next step, entire magnetic field produced by the entire magnetic field produced by the entire magnetic field produced by the circular loop can be calculated by integrating it. The entire magnetic field produced by the circular loop can be calculated by integrating it. So it becomes integral dB is equal to integral 2 into mu 0 divided by 4 pi I, we can just take this R here, IR divided by R cube into DL. Integral dB is equal to integral 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IR divided by R cube into DL. Again, what is the integral of derivative of a function? Integral dB.
B.
Yes, very good. It is B, that function itself. So we get the capital B. Capital B is equal to, here 2 is a constant. We know that mu 0 is the permeability of the free space. It is also a constant. 4 pi is a constant. And let I be a constant current that is flowing through the circuit. R is the radius of a circular loop. It is a constant. And this small r is represents the distance between the point P and that of the small segment dl. It is also a constant. So we can take all these terms outside. So it becomes B is equal to 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IR divided by R cube. All these terms are constant. So what is left? Integral dl. So B is equal to 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IR divided by R cube into integral dl.
So
Yes.
integral DL will become L, right?
Yes, very good. Here also we know that the integral of derivative of a function is that function itself. So we can take it as L. So integral dl become L. So B is equal to 2 mu 0 by 4 pi IR divided by R cube into L. Now what is this L represents? This L represents the circumference of the circular loop. Here this L represents the circumference of the circular loop. Circular coil. Okay, here the L represents the circumference of the circular coil. But here we only want to take the circumference of a half circle. The L represents the circumference of the circle. But here we only want to calculate the circumference of a half circle. Because we are taken it as 2 times. That is why in the equation we are taken it as 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IDL r square divided by r cube, r divided by r cube. Okay. So here we only need to calculate the circumference of a half circle. What is the circumference of the entire circle? It is taken as 2 pi r. Then what about the circumference of a half circle? Circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. The circumference of the half circle is pi r. Very good. Very good, Gayatri. So now we are going to substitute the expression for L here. So it becomes B is equal to, what is our equation? B is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi
Ma'am,
S.
2 mu 0.
Ah, yes. Thank you.
And so can't we cancel the
Ah, yes, we can cancel. Here we can cancel it. So B is equal to 2 into mu 0 by 4 pi IDL. What is our equation? Not IDL, sorry. Here IR divided by R cube. Yes. IR divided by R cube. Instead of L, we are substituting the circumference of half circle, that is pi into capital R. So here we can cancel some terms. 2 and 2 is cancelled. 2 and 4 becomes 2. This pi and this pi cancels. And what is left? B is equal to
mu 0 into
mu 0 by 2 into
IR
IR square divided by R cube. B is equal to mu 0 by 2 into IR square divided by R cube. Or we can write mu 0 IR square divided by 2R cube. Mu 0 IR square divided by 2R cube. Now again, in our figure, what is this R represents? R. Here this R is the hypotenuse. Here R is the hypotenuse. So what is hypotenuse square? Hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus altitude square. Here we want to find out another expression for R. Okay, we can wind up with this equation. We can continue in our next class. Okay, stop with this. Otherwise the time is almost 9:19. Okay.